Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Maro Fatemi. Getting into our next segment here, we're going to take a look at the Denver Nuggets taking on I apologize for that, taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. That we saw game one of this series on Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon, actually. Yeah, this was one of the better. This is one of the most hyped up series prior to the playoffs. We remember we of course remember 2020 with the two teams. The Nuggets coming back from 3-1 down against the Clippers in 2020, coming back winning Game 7 to go up against the Los Angeles Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. This is the first time we've seen Kawhi Leonard go up against Jamal Murray and Jokić since that series. This is the first time we've seen him. James Harden obviously being a new face for this Clippers team. We obviously know Ty Lue versus Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers' resume in the NBA playoffs in general speaks for itself now. Ty Lue obviously a champion with the Cleveland Cavaliers, with LeBron James coming back from 3-1 down in his own right. He's been across the NBA. He's an unbelievable coach, Hall of Fame coach. We all know it. Ty Lue is exceptional. And the credit, a lot of the credit for James Harden performance this year, his resurgence as a player, as a scorer, a lot of that has to do with Ty Lue, I'd say, with his confidence boost, with everything. Ty Lue has a lot to do with James Harden's resurgence as an NBA scorer this season. But the Nuggets winning this game 112 to 110 in overtime. It did take overtime for this game with 4 minutes to go. Well, in general, the Nuggets coming back from 17 points down in the second half, bringing it to within. It was an unbelievable performance in general from the Nuggets, I'd say. Like 17 points down. I believe it blew him to 17 points in the third quarter, and the Nuggets came all the way back. I'd say specifically over the last 5 minutes of this game, a big reason why the Nuggets finished this comeback was their rebounding. I know Ivica Zubac is really growing into a top 5 center in this league, still finishing with 21 points and 13 rebounds. But down the stretch of this game, it wasn't the defense of the Clippers was stifling the Nuggets. It absolutely was. There was a big reason why they gave the Nuggets a lot of problems down the stretch. Or they gave the Clippers. The Clippers defense gave the Nuggets a lot of issues on the offensive side of the ball. But it was the rebounding of Jokić, the rebounding of Aaron Gordon, the rebounding of Russell Westbrook, a player that has not gotten a lot of hype, a lot of credit this regular season. We remember against the Minnesota Timberwolves when he missed a wide open layup against this same Denver Nuggets team in a game where if he had just made a bunny layup, a layup that he's made hundreds of times, millions of times, if he had made a simple layup, they would have won the game. A player that fouled on a three-pointer that also lost them that game in the ensuing possession. A player that's now taking heat because Mike Malone got quote-unquote too close to him in the locker room, was giving him extra chances specifically after that game against Denver, continuing to give him big minutes down the stretch of games instead of relying on the younger talent and Jalen Pickett. A lot of people are saying that being a big reason why Mike Malone no longer coaches this team. But we also see examples like last night or again on Saturday night in game 1 where Russell Westbrook hits it was a 3-point shot with under 30 seconds to play, giving the Clippers a 1-point lead. Or giving the Nuggets, was it a 1-point lead? I believe, no, it was a 2-point lead because the Clippers were up by 1, giving the Clippers a 2-point lead with under 30 seconds to play in the game. A massive 3-point shot that completely changed the game. Really, it was a clutch 3-pointer by Russell Westbrook. And it was a big reason why they ended up winning this game, especially with Jokić going to the stripe and missing two key free throws with under a minute to play. Christian Braun also hitting a massive three in overtime that continued to, like I said, another clutch three that ended up lifting the Nuggets over the Clippers. But like I mentioned, this game last night had a lot to do with the rebounding of Aaron Gordon, Jokić, and Russell Westbrook. The timely shooting of some of the Nuggets role players was great to see, but it was really the rebounding, the ability to get extra possessions, the ability to get to the free throw line, as well as a key turnover by Kawhi Leonard with under 40 seconds to play, and another key turnover with under 10 seconds to play in overtime by James Harden. Overall, this is a similar situation to what the Lakers are in with their top three guys. This situation being James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Ivica Zubac. We should throw Norman Powell in this conversation. We absolutely should. Do not get me wrong. But Norman Powell needs to shoot better than what he did. Only shooting 5 of 12, 2 for 6 from three-point range. Having more of a mid performance from him, only shooting 40% from the field. Not really getting to the free throw line. We know Norman Powell can do better, and that's where, like, if you really wanted to point the finger anywhere, you could point it at Norman Powell to have a better offensive performance. But Kawhi Leonard did his thing, shooting 9 for 15 from the field. James Harden did his thing, finishing with 32 points. Another 30-point performance from James Harden in the regular season. Continuing to perform like we were vintage James Harden from the NBA playoffs years ago when he was with the Houston Rockets. We haven't seen playoff performing James Harden since his days with the Rockets. We don't want to bring up his days with the Sixers from the Game 6 and Game 7 where he didn't show up against Boston, where he gets absolutely hosed every time it's brought up. We don't want to bring up his performance with the Brooklyn Nets, where he didn't show up in 2021. He also got hurt, but he didn't really show up at the same time. Like, you just don't want to... This is the first time we've seen vintage real James Harden since about 2020, 2021, maybe. 2020, I'd say. In the NBA bubble playoffs. And even then, if you want to go before that, you could look at 2019 when the Rockets almost took out the KD, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Golden State Warriors. You can look at 2018 with Chris Paul. I'll say it. This is the best James Harden we've seen since 2018 NBA playoffs when he was with Chris Paul. I'm sorry, but I'm serious. I'm being so serious. The current James Harden that we're seeing right now with the Los Angeles Clippers, this is the best James Harden that I've personally seen since his days in 2018, 2019 with the Houston Rockets. When he was an MVP candidate, when he was an absolute stud in the NBA playoffs, when he almost brought the 2017, 2018 Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant. He brought them to a Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals. Chris Paul gets hurt in, I believe, Game 5. The Rockets were up 3-2 in that series and ended up losing Game 7 because James Harden decided to shoot, I believe, like 1 of 10, and Chris Paul was playing injured. Regardless, this is the best James Harden we've seen since those days, and saying that speaks volumes right now to the performance of James Harden this year, and continues to give credit, like I mentioned, to Ty Lue, to how he's performed and how he's coached, how he's put James Harden in the position to succeed, how he's given James Harden confidence in his shot back, something we haven't seen in years. So major props to the Los Angeles Clippers and James Harden. I think he's going to continue to perform. Game 2 of this series kicks off at 9:30 this evening. It's either it's either 9:30 or it's 10 o'clock. 1-0 for the Denver Nuggets right now. They're up 1-0 in the series. But yeah, I'm gonna hit this point until the Roosters go home. I think big point of this game is going to be able to keep Jokić and Aaron Gordon off the offensive glass, off the glass in general. If they can keep those two guys at bay on the glass, especially when it matters most down the stretch. We know Ty Lue is not a choke artist. We're not saying this is the same Clippers team from years past when the Clippers are choke artists, when they're not playing well, when they're just struggling to perform down the stretch. We know that the Clippers have that title, absolutely. I get it. But this Clippers team deserves credit where credit is due. They're a great team. They're a young team. They're not the deepest team, which is a little bit of a point of concern, but I think they can get through that little issue, and I think they'll be okay. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Clippers to win this game and even this series going back to Los Angeles. That's just my personal belief. I think Norman Powell is going to have a comeback game. I think Ivica Zubac is going to continue to perform. James Harden will continue to perform. Kawhi Leonard will continue to do his thing. I expect the standards from both of those guys. Kawhi Leonard's been consistent since he's been back in the lineup healthy. James Harden been pretty consistent all season long. And I got the Clippers winning game 2 going back to Los Angeles. But thank you guys once again for tuning into the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Once again, it was another unbelievable show. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Patriots Day. Once again, to all of our veterans, thank you once again for your service, for everything that you guys continue to do for our country, for what you guys did in your past. Everything is greatly appreciated, and this is a day we appreciate you guys on President's Day. So thank you to all our veterans. Also, happy Easter. I hope you guys had a wonderful, happy holidays in general, are having a wonderful long weekend. For the people that don't have work today, going back to our show, your support means a lot to us. So please remember to subscribe to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, to the GSMC Sports Network, and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference more than you think. A positive review, whatever review you guys have, please let us know what your thoughts on this show in the comments. What I can improve upon, what you guys like to see more of, what you guys like to see more of in general, what I could be doing better in general. Please just let me know in the comments. Anything is greatly appreciated. We also invite you guys to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Thank you once again for another amazing show. Happy holidays to everyone. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your long weekends. And happy NBA playoffs. Knicks Pistons at 7 o'clock. Clippers Nuggets at 10 p.m. We'll be back same time tomorrow to talk about those two games. Thank you guys once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your days. Bye-bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to